Good morning, Owasso High School students. Mr. Ciarlino here. I'm here to be able to do a video about Xello and EDPs, which stands for Educational Development Plan. So Xello is our new website this year that we're using. The county is using it, our district is using it to help students with creating their EDP. What that is a mandatory document that all students have to have starting in secondary school from 6th grade to 12th grade, which documents what their plan is for exploring careers in college. So it's a great tool to be able to use, to be able to do exploration, to be able to build and to change and to be able to research and learn about different things after high school. So what this video is today is the ability to be able to watch, learn how to do it, especially for our virtual learners, so they can be able to access it and fill out their EDP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you step by step through how to do Xello account. And so the links on the bottom will be there just to have some timestamps for students who want to maybe just skip a few parts. So there'll be time marks for students who want specific steps and specific things. So the website that we have is Xello, and it starts with an X, so it's xello.org. So once you get onto the Xello account, you go and click on sign in. Now, the Career Cruising account username was exactly the same for Xello, but sometimes we forget it because it's a little bit unusual in how the username is, because everybody's is a little bit different. So there's two ways that you can be able to access your account by using your username. In most cases, the username is going to be OWOS minus, and then it's going to be your PowerSchool login. So for example, sometimes it's a number like 5080 or 5084, or it could be something like a last name with a couple of numbers like Smith123. And the password is your birth date. So your birth date would be the 2-digit month, 2-digit date, and 4-digit year. So for example, my birthday is July 10th, 19 blah, 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 blah. So it would be 07/10/19 blah, blah, blah. So it would be the 8 digits, 07/10/19 blah, blah. So when you log in like that, if it works, that's great. If it doesn't, here's the other thing you can do. If you forgot what your username is, everybody's student email is linked to their account. So if you have access to your student email, you can go down here, have trouble signing in, and then you can type in your student email about, so you can get an email sent back from Xello that can retrieve your username and maybe reset your password. So remember, your student email is your first name, so John Smith, first last name, at stu.owasso.k12.mi.us. If you don't remember how to access your student email, we will put a video link below. Mr. Hughes has a video on how to set up your student email. We prefer that students use that email because the teachers know who that student is as well. So please make sure to use your student email. It won't recognize anything else. So let's say you got it, you check your email, it'll tell you your username, which will probably be that OWOS minus, and then that way you can retrieve it that way. So if you do log in, you'll then be prompted to possibly change your password. My recommendation is you keep the password that we give you. So they'll allow you to keep the password. So if it's your birth date, make sure it's that, so we can then help you do that if you do forget. So it's the 2-digit month, 2-digit date, 4-digit year. So I'm going to log in. And I have different privileges, so it will look a little different for a second, but I'm going to pretend to be a student. So I'm going to pretend to be a junior, and it's going to show what it's going to look like. So this is your dashboard. So you have the ability to be able to search for colleges, careers, majors, all of that. So this is a great tool, not only for exploring, but they also give lessons based on careers, college, all that kind of stuff. So it's very useful and it's very up to date. So clicking on careers, you'll have a lot of up-to-date jobs, about over 500 jobs, where they will show you like the salary, whether or not it's in demand, like a job that's growing or a job that might be dying. So jobs that you don't see as much because of advances in technology and whatnot. So that's a great tool. You can filter based on that career. You can look at if it's a job that has just high school diploma. And as you can see from that 500, there's only a few jobs out there that have like half of them, over half of them only require a diploma. So more and more jobs out there are requiring you to have some college technical training or four-year university. So we highly recommend students to make sure to go beyond high school and get some training. And that could be a 1.5 to 4 years or more. So you can also click down here, what area. If you're more interested in skilled trades, it shows you what the skilled trades are. Very interesting. So when you click on a job, then you can kind of see what that job pertains to. It gives similar jobs, which I think is really beneficial, because sometimes students only know the bigger part of the job, like a psychologist or a teacher. There's a whole bunch of different types of psychologists, counselors, teachers, plumbers, electricians. There's specific jobs that are more detailed. So they will give you things that are very similar. So that'll give you links to those. But I'll talk about the job description, whether or not it's in high demand, some of the tasks. Sometimes students don't know some of the specifics about tasks, about what a job entails and how much earnings. They will say it specifically just for Michigan about what that occupation pays for entry level, and for those that are experienced and have maybe some more certification. So they talk about the different types of entry level and about different types of salary and wage, depending on what level you are in that occupation, which is informative and beneficial. Talks about what kind of education. Now, the thing that I find very beneficial is that students have not really many options to be able to see where a job, a major, and a school is connected. And this is a great site because it has it all right here packaged. So if I wanted to say if I was looking for a heavy equipment operator, what major would I have? These would be called the following majors. So construction's heavy equipment, earth moving equipment operator, or truck and bus driver. So those are the majors that you can have in technical school or college, community college, that you can major in to have that job. So if I click on that, it tells me more about what that major is. And then sometimes it tells me what colleges may have that major. So for heavy machinery, that would be Lansing Community College. So that would be my A to B to C kind of way of thinking. So if I like that major, I can click yes, save. I like that major. If I want to look at the college, I click on the college. And exploring colleges, they have very up-to-date information about different colleges throughout the nation. So right now we're looking at Lansing Community College. They do have 2 campuses, and one in the downtown area and one in a little bit more West Lansing, but they kind of show a lot of the information that students really kind of wonder, like how much is tuition? So about 5,000. Who gets admitted? All or almost all of them are admitted. How many students are currently admitted? About 13,000. So they do demographics. They show about who is enrolled, ethnicity, gender, some information about housing. A lot of our students say, well, does that college have dorms? Well, it says right here, housing's not available. So they do not have dorms at LCC. So a lot of commuting for students who want to go there. They talk about how close the airport is and what kind of highway is next to it. They talk about applying. What do you need to do to be able to apply? Well, you have to have an essay. You need to have an interview sometimes. Sometimes you need a letter of rec. And of course, and definitely you need to have a transcript sent from the high school to go there. They talk about tuition. What does books look like? What does room and board? Of course, there's no room and board, but that financial aid sometimes gets factored in there, and that could be significant. Some of our students who are TIP eligible, which stands for Tuition Incentive Program, sometimes that financial aid, they get 2 years free for college. So have your student talk to us about what TIP is, and we can see whether or not they qualify. So we talk about financial aid breakdown, and then if they're interested in seeing what other majors that college has, then they look at this list on the bottom about all the things they offer. So LCC has 2 campuses, and they can just look at all the options. And a lot of those options at LCC are usually certificate-based or associates-based, which is the 2-year degree program. But they have a lot of options, a lot of good programs at LCC. They do talk also about sports and where that's located. So since they do have 2 campuses, it's located in 2 different places. So if I wanted to explore more colleges, or I want to go back to my dashboard, I click Xello. And if I wanted to go specifically to schools, careers, or majors, that's where I click to. So just to kind of show you again where schools are, if we click schools, and this is the whole listing of all the schools within the nation that are participating in this program, and that's 3,500. But if I wanted to do specifically some searching, again, just like the careers, I can limit what I want to see since that's a lot. So let's say that I just want to do Michigan. I just filtered, and now it's 79 schools that are participating in the Xello. So I can now select, well, if it's a small campus or it's a large campus, if it's urban, rural, or small town. So, and then again, if we have students that are pretty sure about where their field is based on what kind of career, then they can select the area of study. It's not very specific, but it has like a general idea because since sometimes students tend to kind of gravitate around certain fields and not specific careers. So let's say that I do want to go to the service industry, and then now my 79 schools are whittled down to 28. So you can see some of the schools that I have already looked at that I put saved it as heart. Students will need to pick 3 schools to save. So that could be 3 schools that they want me to look at later. They can always change it, but in order to do their EDP, they need to have 3 schools saved. Okay, so I'm going to look at Delta College just to show you again. So Delta is another great school for service industry, trade skills, and it just shows the demographic. And again, it shows you the majors. It's a great place. And this is one school that I have saved. So if I want to go back and push the arrow button to see if I have 3 schools saved, Delta, I think I have Lansing Community. If I want to go back and change my filter, I can always cross off these or X these out. So I go back and look at more options. So I have 2. So I'm going to say that I'm interested in Mott. So I'm going to click Mott and then save that for later. So I got my 3 schools. Same thing with careers. Students also need to have 3 careers saved. They can do it 2 different ways. They can either go through careers and specifically pick out the jobs that they're see and they're interested in. So if I look in here, do my filters, and I find something that I like, or I kind of want to go back, I just save it. If a student wants to change it and they want to update it, they go click it again, and then that gets unsaved. So like I changed my mind, I don't want to be automotive recycler. I go down and I look for something else that I'm interested in. I can always see more careers down here. I'm kind of interested in the heating and air conditioning, refrigeration tech. So I'm going to click that and save that for later. So let's say I have a couple of them I kind of know off the top of the bat that I like. I'm just deleting my previous matchmaker so I can show you what the next step is. So students need to definitely have 3 schools that they're interested in or want to look into later, and then 3 careers. So if they can only find a couple careers here, what they're going to do is they're going to start Matchmaker, and then they can find more careers that way as well. So the part of their EDP, 3 careers, 3 schools, and then now they start Matchmaker, personality style, and mission complete. So that is this next part of that EDP. So Matchmaker, so we launch Matchmaker, and they ask a very kind of truthful question about what would you like to do after high school. So we want students to be pretty honest about what they want to do or what they're thinking. This is for them. This is their tool to be able to learn and to get educated about post-high school stuff. So if they're not sure, that's okay. It says no problem. If they're thinking about more school, that's great. Or an alternate route. So an alternate route could be something like a gap year, military. It can be going straight to the workforce. Those are the things that are the alternate route. So let's say that I'm not too sure about where I want to go. So I'm going to start my Matchmaker. And what they're going to do is they're going to give you about 39 statements that talk about different careers. And they're just trying to gauge about how you feel about what kind of career you'd be comfortable in. So they're trying to see and try to gauge what kind of career you'd like. So let's say that this says working with children. So you would mark whether or not you like it a lot, kind of like it, not sure, dislike, or dislike a lot. So we really highly recommend that you do either these 2 or these 2. The not sures, if you have too many not sures, then you're not going to get much results. So sometimes you either like it or you don't. So I'm going to quickly kind of just go through these just to show you what it looks like. I'm going to get something random. It's okay to do some not sures because if you don't understand what they're asking, it's best just to kind of not put anything down. So I got my results. And let's say that I did get 3 top ones. Maybe they're totally off. Maybe they're close. I've done this personally, and I took it seriously. And at one point, it did say one of them was a funeral director. And I thought, oh, I wouldn't like to be a funeral director at all. But there is a lot of similarities between a funeral director and a counselor, which is my position, because both jobs end up helping to help out families, especially with bereavement. So there are some similarities in the jobs, but it's not exactly 100% there. So just kind of take things with a grain of salt. If you don't like these top 3, then you look at more. And then the little E on the bottom says it's an excellent match based on that results for the Matchmaker. If I didn't get my 3, I have to make sure that I have my 3 jobs. If I see this, read it, look at similar jobs. If I like this one, I'm going to save it. It asked me, how do you feel about it? This is a match that they gave me. I can be honest. It's like, I'm not sure it's a good fit. It's a possibility. So if it was a funeral director, I would say, not sure it's a possibility, that kind of thing. So I go back. Once students finish the Matchmaker, they need to go on to phase 2 and do their personality style. So personality style is based on what's called the Holland Code. Holland Code is a type of interest survey which looks at what type of occupation students would prefer. So that is based on whether or not if it's a hands-on, if it's working with people, if it's about creating, it's about organizing, is it about building? It's all those kind of criteria. So it kind of helps out students understand that certain jobs are connected in a certain way. So we start with the quiz, and it's very similar. I will kind of breeze through these just for the sake of time. So try again, just read through them all. Don't do as quickly as I am because I've already read through these several times. Just make sure that you be very honest and you read through them. Again, this is like a tool. So depending on if the tool, you can use it for what it's really worth, or you can just kind of let it be and be rusty. So use what it is for what it's worth. So based on those results, it says that if I were being truthful and honest, it says that my jobs that I would be interested in are jobs where I can be a thinker, a persuader, meaning working with people or students, or an organizer. So again, I can see results, and based on that, those results, here are some examples. I can, again, click some jobs, like them. You can do more than 3. By all means, the more you have, the more you are successful. And once you do, you go to the last part, which is complete the mission. So complete the mission. We finish the quiz. And very similar again, you got 49 statements. Read the statements, be very honest. Try to skip the not sure only if you don't understand what the statement means. So out of sake, I'm just going to click these pretty quickly so we can move on to see what's next. I would never do it this quick because I want to be honest and see what I have. So my finalization, and then now I have some more detailed careers, because now I've taken 3 different kind of interest surveys, and that does give me more options here. So again, I can filter, I can just see which ones are maybe just for 2-year, and then it gets whittled down into a couple. But let's say, again, if I just do high school, then again, I don't have as many. I have only half of what I had. So after you do your interest surveys here, you can do learning style. So that's another kind of a quiz. It's not mandatory, but it is kind of a fun quiz to see whether or not you're more of a tactile learner with like working with your hands. Do you need visual? Are you a visual learner where you have to see it to be able to learn? Or are you auditory? Or you can hear what you learn? So that's just more for your own personal information. And then down here is a skills lab. It helps you think about skills that you want to use in the world of work. So we've talked about this before. Sometimes we talk about soft skills, some skills that you have to be able to be successful. So that's things that are like communication skills, organization skills, nonverbal skills, all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty informative. Again, it's not required. We just want you to do these 3. But if you really want to learn what kind of skills to be successful or learning skills, that's a great place to be able to do. So I'm going to reset my lessons. So that is the next part. So after you do these 3, then you're going to move on to your lessons. So we review all lessons. So students are required at Owasso High School to do just the grade that they're in. Once we do it next year, then you will do the following grade. But we're not expecting students to go all the way back to 6th grade unless they really want to. The more that you do, the more that is kind of creating your EDP, but also a resume by the time that you're a senior. So they'll talk about goals, about things that you can do to be able to, plans, about things about volunteer work. So it's a great way to be able to have things documented so that by the time you're a senior, you don't have to worry about rushing to make things and to type things up and to constantly go there. So you'll have it all here. You can print it and then just give it to a lot of options. We use it for co-op. We use it for college applications. We use it for letters of rec. it's a great tool. So it's just a lot of proactive things to be able to, you know, to get everything aligned. So these are the lessons. So for example, if you are a junior and you need to do your lesson, these are the two that you're recommended to do, or required, excuse me. So you're required to do these two. If you're a sophomore, then you do these two. And a ninth grader, you do those two. So every student, 9th through 12th, have to do these lessons. So for example, a junior would click on choosing a college. If I don't have enough careers, it's not going to say get started. It'll have a little heart saying choose more colleges. Same thing with the other lesson. The career one will say you have not chosen enough careers. Make sure that you do. You have to have 3. So we get started. You will show your progress and how much you've completed. These are lessons, so it does say 40 to 50 minutes, and that's a little bit more than what it should be, but you get started. It talks about, this is going to be a lesson about showing about the differences between 2- and 4-year college, apprenticeships, and vocational training. At Owasso, we talk about these as all being types of college. They're all college. So we try to promote and make sure that college is something that we try to aspire for, because nowadays there is a lot of push for students to have some post-high school education because a lot of jobs require it. So we start the activity, and it's a very honest question. It says, what are your thoughts about going to college? So let's say you're pretty positive you're going. I'm not sure. Nope, it's not for me. So let's say that I say, nope, it's not for me. It's going to say, but even if it's not part of your plan right now, more education or training could be in your future. So even if you go to a job, maybe your employer will say, well, you got to be able to do some training. We may pay you. We may have you do an apprenticeship. So sometimes it's part of it. So why not kind of make that decision before you say no? So what they're going to do is just trying to gauge what you think about doing college or post-high school education. So let's say about getting into school of your choice. Maybe I'm worried. How about being away from home or taking on more responsibilities? I'm a bit worried. How about passing college's courses? I'm pretty sure I got that. About paying for college? I have a lot of anxiety about that. During the senior year, we do talk a lot to our seniors about the different ways of paying off for college, about financial aid. So we really try to kind of ease their mind, and we're here to be able to help them out about post-high school education and financial aid. So making friends, I'm pretty sure I got that. I'm good with being able to know new people. And getting a job once you graduate, I'm a little bit worried. So once they do that, they give a summary of what you chose. They talk about, well, it could be daunting, but what they do is then they give you lessons about trying to make you feel a little bit more eased about going beyond high school. So these will give you some tips, and then it's going to give you a scenario about Brianna and figuring out whether or not she should do the following. So some of them are going to be like truthful, some are going to be not so truthful. So like talk to her counselor, focus on getting your grades up or great, but stuff like starting to buy things to decorate your dorm room, that's not really effective to be able to kind of get motivated. And research the school deadlines. Those things are the things that she recommends to do. So you'll go through and you'll pick some of these that are true, not so true, and then you'll move on. And then you will see your progress getting further and further, but it's primarily to do it as a lesson. Make sure that you do it honestly. Don't just click the buttons. Use it as a good tool to be able to kind of learn beyond high school of what to do. After that, you need to have that 100% done, and then you move on to the career demand one. Again, in about 45 minutes, get started. And this is kind of like a fun little lesson about what the difference between extinct jobs and in-demand jobs. So it's more about a lesson. Some of them are kind of funny. So when you start this, they give us kind of like a little scenario. They talk about what kind of careers are dying. So like, for example, limit the spread of disease in crowded cities by killing pests that carry them. So we have 3 occupations. One of them is one that's not around as much. So we have animal service worker and environmental health inspector. These are two are very prevalent in society now, but the rat catcher is not one. So that is the correct answer, because that is a job that's kind of getting extinct. Rat catchers don't happen as frequent. Next one, how help make it safer for people to travel around the town or nightfall. Pilot, lighting technician, or lamp lighter. Lamp lighter is a job that's pretty much extinct. We don't have those. So that's been a while, long time. But you continue to go through here, you do these little questions, and then they're going to do some videos about what's in demand and what's extinct. So make sure to watch those videos, because the questions will go straight from the videos. And once you're done, it'll say 100%. So we are expecting students to be able to do those 2 lessons for their grade and to do these. So it's kind of a backwards thing. We go from right to left. So 3 careers, 3 schools, Matchmaker, personality style, mission complete, and then these 2 lessons right here. So we need to have students to be able to complete those. Again, if you have any questions, please contact me or Mr. Woltjer. Our emails will be down below. Depending on your grade, if you are a senior or a junior, you will be on my caseload. If you are a freshman or a sophomore, then you will be on Mr. Woltjer's caseload. So thank you for watching the video, and